Hi, this is Brendan Davis again from Bedrock Games and the Bedrock blog, and I want to talk about something related to a post I made the other day on balance and kung fu techniques in Wandering Heroes of Ogregate. The subject had come up in a conversation I had with a person I know on Facebook, and and they had expressed interest in this, and so I wanted to get into more detail with it. I sort of addressed it at the back of the end of the video. But as I said, the chapter 3, which is the chapter that contains all the kung fu techniques in Wandering Heroes of Ogregate, is going to be in public domain. And part of that is because I want people to be able to customize the game to suit their needs. Um, and I think that's really important. I mean, this is a kind of game where you really make it your own. Like, those techniques that are in the book, those are how I do wuxia. That's how I want it done. Um, People that watch wuxia have very specific opinions, I think, on what mechanically works best. So while I think the ones I've provided are perfectly good, I love them. I think they're great. I by no means think that that's the last word on the subject. And so, in addition to sort of having this concept of the evolving landscape of kung fu, where over time you're supposed to have new counters emerge and new techniques emerge, I also think that people should be making should be what I'm hoping people will do is they'll take that core list, and what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna try to actually make a Word document version of it so that people can easily download it and edit it. So they'll be in the book, they'll be in the PDF, but I think on the website or somewhere, I will basically upload our Word document version of the chapter, and people can just use that as a basis for modifying existing techniques, but also creating their own techniques. So say you get the you find the kung fu chapter, and you look through it, and you think it's okay, but it's not really, like you saw. You saw a bunch of movies that you liked. You watched A Bride with White Hair, and you don't think that this really allows a person to make characters from that movie. We just we just didn't go far enough. We might have like the whipping hair technique, but there are some other things you'd like to see to specifically make that workable. You can make This is my Bride with White Hair expansion. And you can sell it on RPG Now if you want. You can just use it in your personal campaign. I mean, really, this is all about. I think this is the kind of thing where I think fan creations really work well. I don't think you need a company sort of telling you how to do things. So that's again why we put that in the public domain. I even have a friend. As a side note, I'd love to see people use this to make their own games. Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe you want to make a different wuxia game. You can take that chapter 3 and do something with it. I think that if people want to communicate with me and talk to me about using other aspects of the system as well to tweak or change, I'm totally open to that. Just give me a shout in the comments, or contact me on my Gmail account, and I'll happily talk with you about that, because I really think that wuxia is a genre that there's a dedicated fan base to it, and everybody has their own views, and so I'd love to see folks take some of what we did here, but really expand on it in their own way, and hopefully there'll be game like even for me, like just as as a matter of selfishness, I'd like to, like if somebody made like a, I don't know, like basically like the Detective D sort of expansion of a game, like just made their own game, but sort of used some of our core ideas. That'd be great. So if this, the more we can open this up and have it lead to other things, the better, I think. I have a friend in my own group who's much more into sort of the kung fu and modern martial arts stuff. So he's been using it to come up with his own sort of modern kung fu variation on the game, which is, to me, that's a genre I like too. So I'm kind of excited to see what he does, and if he runs a campaign with it, or if he turns it into a book and sells it online, that's cool with me. Again, I think the more the merrier here. Wuxia is a genre that we really kind of, I think number one, it's got a dedicated fan base, but it's also one that can grow because, I think this was shown by Netflix, where Netflix put out, they basically put up a bunch of wuxia movies, a bunch of Chinese movies, that were, in that zone, and you saw people talking about them online, people that maybe not had been introduced to them before, and I think that's because it's a genre that has a lot of appeal to people that like things like fantasy and like a lot of supernatural movies and stuff like that, but they've just never really been exposed to it, or they haven't been exposed to the right movie. So again, I'm hoping that we'll see more wuxia in the gaming community as a result. And I think we are starting to see that. I've already, there's an OSR game called the Golden Scroll of Justice that came out recently. There's the Fate. I think it's Tian Xia that came out about 2 years ago, and from what I can tell, that's still actively getting supplement and support. So I think we're going to see more interest in this. I even saw a Pathfinder martial arts book that came out not long ago. So yeah, this is something where I think there's a lot of room for people to sort of take what we did and expand on it, and that's what I'm hoping to see. I'm really hoping people make good use of that of the chapter 3. Now it's starting to rain, so I'm going to cut it off here. I'll revisit this subject in the next few days, but until then, bye.